Yeah. So, we want to begin by condemning in the strongest terms possible what has happened today. Today is a very, very sad day in the history of this country. Because what the police have done was never even done during the darkest days of our political history as a nation. This really shows that actually we are degenerating into a kind of a colonial state where life did not really matter. Life of Africans did not matter at all. Because there's no reason why police should use this kind of force against unarmed citizens who are merely exercising their democratic right. And it must also be added that we are not even in the CBD. We are on the outskirts of the central business district of Nairobi. And we were just greeting the people. And you can see the people were very happy and to welcome us. And we just moved around, addressing them, talking to them, and leaving. In fact, we thought as we were reaching the highway, that's where we were actually intended to say goodbye to the people, then to drive to the city center. But then, completely unprovoked, there's this vicious attack. Tear gas being thrown left, right, and center. And it continued raining for a very long time. Got then live bullets. My own car was hit 7 times with live bullets. And you could see to the direction of the bullet were all aimed at me. Okay? So we want to say that, look, this is really terrible. These people have, because, been threatening us and they've been blackmailing. Unfortunately, the friends of this country are not helping. If you look at the statement released by some ambassadors based here, you think that they live in a different country. They are not living in Kenya. They are actually trying to inflame this conflict. They're actually adding fuel to this conflict instead of being independent and neutral arbiters. We've been told elections are over. Kenya had the most democratic elections last time. We live here in this country. And they themselves know that an election where there's a division among electoral commissioners, 4 against 3, cannot be said to, by any standards, to be a free and fair elections. It cannot be a transparent elections. Because either the 3 are right or the 4 are right. And we are justified in light of new evidence that has actually come to light. All we are trying to say is not that we are trying to reverse, but we want, for record purposes and for future elections, to ascertain exactly what happened. And we are entitled as citizens of this country to know exactly what happened. That's why we are demanding that the servers should be opened so that we see what is there. We will bring our experts. They can also bring their experts so that a forensic audit is done to the server so that any doubt is actually put to rest. This is all that we've said. And then we've also said that the 4 commissioners who were kicked out of the office need to be reinstated back, because you are actually ruining professions of 4 very innocent Kenyans merely because they are standing by the truth and doing their job. Then we also said that the constitution of IBC must be an inclusive process. We as major stakeholders in the electoral process must be part and parcel of that exercise. And then we've said that we are supposed to be running a multi-party democracy. Multi-party democracy means that parties respect each other. You don't go out to be poaching members of other party. But members of parliament who are elected on a particular party's or a coalition ticket must stick with the coalition to the life of that parliament. If they want to change sides and cross the aisle, they need to resign and go back to the electorate and get a fresh mandate. This is how democracies work around the world. And so we're saying that this poaching of members of parliament must stop forthwith. And all those members of parliament who have expressed publicly that they are no longer part of the AZIMIO coalition need to resign and by elections held in all their constituencies. This is a must. And then, finally, we are saying that there are certain areas of our constitution which now need to be looked at. Remember, we had the BBI, which was shot down by the Supreme Court, but it was not that BBI was relevant. It was because of a mere technicality. But the process. So that needs to be brought back to the table. So we are a very reasonable people. We believe we've got very valid reasons why we need to have a conversation. But in the absence of preparedness on the other side to cooperate, these demonstrations are going to continue. And on Monday, there's going to be another demonstration. And the mother of the demonstrations will take place on Monday, irrespective of what our detractors say or think. Thank you. It is very unfortunate that in the whole of these skirmishes, the media is being targeted seriously for attack. The other day, and even today, several journalists have been injured, very seriously injured today by tear gas canisters which have been thrown left, right, and center. We also had information that they were planning to attack Uhuru's farm, business, and residences. They also wanted to attack Royal Media premises. That I heard from very reliable sources, like I've been revealing. A meeting that was chaired by Mr. Gachagua, which attended by Mr. Kamau Ichungwa, and also Mr. Ndindi Nyoro. They can deny, but as you can see, the other day I gave registration numbers of those vehicles. You saw them. I gave a registration number of an ambulance. It was going to be carrying goons dressed in uniforms. You saw the ambulance the other day. So these people are not people what being called deputy president, I don't know, majority leader in the House, I don't know what. These are goons, are thugs that belong to jail. Thank you. We have, of course, said several times, the cost of living is too high in this country. Anybody who doubts that does not live in this country. People are suffering. Kenyans are merely being able to put a bread on the table. Some families, children even sleep without food because of the high cost of unga, the high cost of cooking oil, the high cost of energy, the high cost of things like sugar, the school fees, and so on. So that's why we demanded that the subsidies which were introduced to alleviate the suffering of our people because of the circumstances beyond the control of our country must be restored. They must be reinstated, irrespective of what the World Bank and IMF say. Thank you.
Okay.
Na mtazamaji, huyo alikuwa ni kiongozi wa muungano ama mrengo wa AZIMIO Raila Odinga akiwa ameandamana na viongozi wengine kwenye mrengo huo baada tu ya muda mfupi kukamilika kwa msafara wa maandamano, akiwa anahutubia kikao cha wanahabari kwenye eneo la Karen, na baadhi ya masuala ambayo ameyagusia